Hello, my name is Keith Rucker. So today I'm real excited because I got in the mail something I've been waiting to get my hands on now for a couple of weeks. It's probably been about 3 weeks altogether since I first saw this auction come up on eBay. I was sitting in my hotel room traveling on business, bored. I was just searching some kind of random searches with a lot of hits, and lo and behold, I saw a Machinist toolbox, a Kennedy toolbox, 7-drawer toolbox that was jammed full of all kinds of Machinist tools and tooling that was going up for auction on eBay, and it had a pretty low starting bid. It was located up in Rockford, Illinois, which is a long way from me, and the seller had on there that he would ship it, but it was going to be really expensive to ship. In fact, the number he put on there, if I had seen the auction even at a low price, I probably wouldn't have even bid on it because the shipping was just going to be so high. But I had a ace up my sleeve. My good buddy Carl Shields happens to live in Rockford, Illinois, and Carl is the guy that I made the shaper spindle for. I've been making the knives for the Oliver miter trimmer for. So I kind of figured Carl probably owed me a couple of favors, and I figured I'd call one in. So I shot Carl an email and said, hey, if I were to win this auction, would you pick it up for me so I wouldn't have to have it shipped? And I knew that I was going to be seeing Carl this fall, and I could just pick the items up from him myself. And Carl agreed. I contacted the seller. I said, hey, I know you got the shipping in there. If I were to have someone pick it up locally, would that be fine? They said, yeah, that'd be fine. They'd be glad to do that. So anyway, I ended up bidding on it, and long story short, I ended up winning the auction at what I thought was a very, very good price. I think I paid about $325 for the toolbox with all the tools, and then after it was over, it was originally just the top box, the 7-drawer toolbox. After it was all over, the seller sent me an email and said, hey, there's actually also the intermediate box that was on here. There wasn't really any tools in it, but I'm going to throw it in the deal as well. So I got an extra toolbox out of it as well. So I was really pumped about that. And I'm going to get the toolboxes later, but I thought we would go through this toolbox and show you guys what's all in there. So here we go. Let's see what all's in these. I asked Carl to just put them in some flat rate boxes, and he told me that he was able to get almost everything in there. There were several items that was in the toolbox that were just quite honestly too large to fit in the flat rate boxes, and I will pick those up at a later date from him. And Carl did a great job of packing these up. As you can see, everything, he put things in individual boxes and packed everything up real well. So I've already opened these up. I actually haven't opened up the individual boxes, so you guys are going to get to see this with me for the first time, a lot of this. But I did open it up. And before I get into this too deep, I wanted to show you this. So in the box, and I saw this in the in that little top middle drawer on the toolbox was the Machinery's Handbook. Actually, this isn't the Machinery's Handbook. This is the American Machinist Handbook, which is a different version. Basically, same type of information that's in the Machinery's Handbook that I've been using for years. I've seen this book before. I've never actually looked at one real closely, and I'm really excited to get it. Anyway, when I opened the box up, I immediately just kind of started thumbing through it. But when I opened it up on the inside the front cover, really, this alone makes this whole purchase really neat, because it's got really some history on this individual that owned this box. So the person that owned it was John Schleict. I guess it's S-C-H-L-E-I-C-H. Schleict, I think is how you say that. He was from up in northern Illinois. Goodness, I actually did a Google search on to see if I could find some stuff out about him. I didn't come up with a lot. I did find out that he passed away back in 2002. He was 80 years old, And actually in here it tells he's got his birthday, April 29th, 1922. He also put in here his driver's license number, his Social Security number, and you can actually go online and find this. I actually was able to use his Social Security number. Since he's deceased, you really can't steal that, so I don't guess it's, like I said, you can actually find that off the internet now anyway, so I'm not too worried about hiding it. He was in the Army. He's got his Army C number and Army serial number. I'm not sure what an Army C number is. Some of you guys might know. Said he was on 510 West Roosevelt, Kent 2261. I guess that was his phone number back before they had the exchanges, and underneath that he wrote later 232-4471. Over here on the right side, it has inscribed in here on January 2nd, 1942, it says, presented to John Schleict in recognition of completing the first year of machine shop apprenticeship. And it says Micro Sereth Corp. I can't really make that out. Virgil Fry was the person that gave it to him. And he actually wrote up here, it was presented to him on January 2nd, 1942, and he wrote up there started January 2nd, 1941. So that was probably right shortly after he got out of high school, since he was born in 1922. But another interesting thing that was in here, he's got on here Atwood's, October 17th, 1966. And from what I've been able to tell, in 1966 he went to work as a machinist, I'm assuming at Atwood's. Atwood, it doesn't say the name, it just says Atwood. It's actually a town in northern Illinois, just north of Rockford. So I don't know the exact name of the company or the business or whatever. It just says Atwood. But it says on here, he wrote in here his the date that he started and his salary. He was making $3.50 an hour. And every time he got a raise, he wrote down the date and he wrote down his new salary. So he started on October 17th, 66 at $3.50. On April 3rd, 1967, he got a 10-cent raise to $3.60. May 1st, 1967, went to $3.67. On and on and on, and he's just got a whole string of them. And his last entry in here was May 2nd, 1983, $12.84. So he started there. Oh, excuse me. So 19 Atwood 1987. He's got $13.71. I guess that was the last entry. So he started at $3.50 an hour back in 1966, and it says in here later that he actually retired in 1987, and he was making $13.71. So I found this interesting because I actually started as an apprentice at a machine shop myself in 1987, the same year that this person retired. And I think I was making about $4 an hour when I started. I can remember very clearly when I got a raise at some point in time when I was making $5 an hour during the 2.5 years that I worked in that shop. So anyway, very interesting. He's got a couple other information in here that he just hand wrote in here. Kennedy Toolbox, number 1. He's actually got the key numbers that fit the toolbox, and let's see. Okay, right here he's got the toolbox number, and it actually says he paid $38.20 for the toolbox, the Kennedy Toolbox. So anyway, just kind of neat to read some of the history. Like I said, I went online and tried to do a Google search to see if I could find an obituary or something. I did find where he died in 2002, but I couldn't really find any other information than that. So anyway, to me though, seeing this and being able to tie a name and a career working in a machine shop, these tools, that's priceless to me. That is just absolutely priceless. So I was really happy to find that, to know some of the history. So anyway, I'm going to actually take this book, I think, to my office, and I want to look at it and kind of study it and familiarize myself with it, because there looks like there's some really good information in here. A lot of it looks similar to what's in the Machinery Handbook, but also some of it looks different. So anyway, he's got some notes in here where he was figuring out some jobs, number of teeth, wanted, some math in here. So anyway, just real interesting to see that little bit of history. So let's get into the tools. All right, where do we start? So I'll tell you what, we'll save this box for last, and we'll go through this one first. A lot of little small stuff in here, and let's just start right here. So this is a little Craftsman. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a puller, but I actually looked the number up on the internet, and it's a overhead valve spring compressor. So I guess a mechanic's tool. I probably will never have a need for that, but you never know. I might adapt it into a puller or something. So got a couple of file cards here. Colton's number 10 file cleaner. That one doesn't have a name on it. Anyway, that's interesting. This is kind of neat. This is looks like a flashlight, and it's got a little tube on it that directs the light down. It's almost like a little fiber optic type thing, but probably pre-fiber optics, but allows you to direct the light down there. I'm going to have to get a battery out and see if I can. It doesn't have a battery in it right now, but see if I can get that working. That looks kind of neat. So here's a little Yale lock of some kind, of travel lock it says. Have no idea. So we got a box of Heller Swiss pattern files, and these are a bunch of little small files, so these will come in real handy. You know, you're always needing those little small files to get into somewhere, and these are some good, nice. Heller made some nice files. So anyway, that's a nice little set there. American Swiss needle file set. Little spring, little clip with a magnet on it. All right, so here's a tap wrench. See if it's got a name on it. It says made in USA, number 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. LM. That's all I see on there. But that looks to be in pretty good shape. Doesn't look like a super high quality one, but nice nonetheless. So here's some bent rods, probably for an indicator or something. Not sure what that is. It looks like a ground center, maybe, or maybe it's a homemade punch. I'm not sure. Maybe a homemade center punch that he made out of something. Magic marker, nothing exciting there. Some more bent steel. Here's a few more needle files. Put those in the box with the others. Pencil, pen, markers, nothing exciting. Let's see, here's some more spring clips. Alright, so here's a long tap wrench. That'll come in handy. And this is a Starrett. Very nice. Has his initials on there, JJS. I did find online his name was James J. Schleict. Anyway, that was nice Starrett long handle tap wrench. I don't have one of those. That'll come in handy. So we got some styling glasses here with the bifocals. I'm sure those will. Oh, the glass just came out of them. So yeah. So we got a bag here with just a bunch of miscellaneous parts. Some of these look like gauge pins. Just miscellaneous small stuff. Some screws. That looks like an indicator tip. Yeah, anyway. Another pair of fancy dancy glasses. Prescription. Okay, another bag full of just miscellaneous screws, nuts, bottle opener, thumbtacks, cotter pins. Just miscellaneous stuff that collects in everybody's toolbox. So, all right. So there is a ball on the end of a stick, and I happen to know what that is. This is a pattern maker's tool for putting in wax fillet. So if you're putting in a radius in the corner of a pattern for making a casting, you would actually use this to mold it. So if you had wax fillet, you would actually put this over a little alcohol lamp, heat this little ball up, and that would put in a perfect radius along that edge. I have a set of these that I use, so I'll put these with my other pattern making tools. And another steel rod, and here we go, just decimal equivalents and tap size stuff. So there's the good old comb, YMCA. I probably won't be using that. So let's go here. So the other day I was needing a mirror to set up an indicator. There's a double-sided mirror. That's not made out of glass. That looks like plastic, so if you drop it, it probably won't break. I'm not going to try that out, but that's actually really good. I'll put that, that's going to come in handy in my toolbox. I've already needed it. And here's just a box full of miscellaneous stuff. There's looks like a little valve, some electrical connectors, some chain, nothing exciting in here. Little relay switch of some kind off of a car or something. Anyway, so that's some of the more boring stuff. Alright, this is marked taps. Alright, so we just have a bag full of assorted size taps here. Most of them pretty small. Let's see, that one's 11/16/16. So anyway, I'll put those in with the rest of my taps. I'll get them all sorted out to the right size and put them in the right spot. Alright, so Carl put this one here. He's already got everything sorted out for me. So I noticed when I was looking at the pictures online, there was a whole bunch of end mills, and so Carl has all these end mills kind of sorted out here for me. Maybe not sorted, but wrapped up anyway. Alright, so looks like I have a pretty good supply of end mills to last me for a while. There's a little boring bar. That one there's been ground to a special angle. Most of these actually look like they're in pretty good shape. Some of them are kind of worn, but most of these are, that one there's chipped on one side. But most of these look to be pretty sharp. So I've actually got an end mill dispenser. I guess a little set of drawers where I can get all these organized by size. So I'll go through these, probably pick out the good ones. The bad ones, if they're toast, we'll probably just go ahead and set those aside, or if it looks like it's a candidate for being resharpened, I may put those in another pile. But the good ones I'll go ahead and carry out to the museum and put into my dispenser so I can grab whatever size I need whenever I need it. But yeah, this is great. So there's a 1 inch. That one there looks like it's hardly even been used. Cool. Alright, so the next box here, this one is marked lathe tooling, drills, scales, etc. So let's see what we got in here. Again, Carl did a fabulous job of wrapping all this stuff up. So we start out, this is a General number 17 protractor here. Angle finder, whatever you want to call it, has the angles on there. I've got a smaller one of these, I think also made by General, but this one's a good bit bigger, so this is a very handy little item to have. That'll definitely find a home in my toolbox. Next we have some scales. I'm a scale junkie, guys. I love scales. I don't know why, but every time I see them, I pick them up. So there's a Craftsman 6-inch scale. Kind of faint, but you can still read it. Let's see what we got here. Here's pretty sure that's a Lufkin. So it has tenths, and I can't see. Has tenths and 50ths on one side, and it has 30 seconds and 64ths on the other. Here's a little general 6-inch scale, another general 6-inch scale, 30 seconds 64ths. This one has decimal equivalents on the back. Here's a little narrow scale, goes up to 6 inches. I think that may have gone in a depth gauge. And here's an example. Here's a little general depth scale. I think this one maybe had a little clip like that on it at one time. Oh, this is cool. I saw this in the toolbox. This is something I've actually been wanting for a while, and just haven't been able to find one. But this is a drill point finder for grinding the angles on drills. So you can use this to set your angles when you're hand grinding, and it has a 90, 130, 140. You can put that tip up there, and then this is the 59-degree angle, and also has some stuff on there. This is the Cleveland Twist Drill Company. Yeah, actually, I've seen these before, and I've seen other people talk about them. I've actually, like I said, been looking for one of those. That was that's nice. I'm glad to get that. So there's that piece. This one looks like it may have been shop made. I'm guessing. It just looks that way. So another 6-inch scale in the case, and this is a Starrett. Very nice. Looks like it's hardly even been used. Lufkin. Michitoyo. Ritter, USA. Some of these scales have seen a lot of use over the years. They're really faint. There's a little spring clip. There's a little sharpening stone. So that looks like all the scales. Very nice. Alright, continue on down. So there's a, looks like a 30, 60, 90 triangle. JJS, again, it says John J. Schleict, so that was probably made by him on his angle grinder, and also has a 45 square there. Those will both be very handy to have. And this is something that another set of items I've been looking for. This is a set of Starrett, oh goodness, what do you call these things? Adjustable parallels. It wouldn't come to me. So it looks like he's got the complete 6-piece set. They're all Starretts. They're all inscribed with his name, John Schleict. And you know, when I was milling those hexagon bolt heads on some parts recently on my milling machine, I said I was needing an adjustable parallel. And this is another item that I've been looking for now for a while, and just haven't been able to find one used set on eBay or whatever, Craigslist, that I wanted to buy. So this is a complete set of Starretts. Doesn't have the little plastic case that they go in, but that's no big deal. That is something I've been wanting, so that's awesome. Alright, so we got another little long-handled tap wrench. This is also a Starrett, smaller version of the one we saw before. Another tap, some drill bits. There's another end mill. Put that over here in my end mill box. There's a countersink that looks like it's got a homemade extension on it. Alright, I kind of sorted this out to make this a little bit easier to see. So then there we had some drill bits. There's a long tap there. Some more end mills. I'll put this in my end mill box. Here's a bunch of center drills. You know, these things here, man, they're getting expensive if you got to buy new ones. I'm always happy to come across some of these. There's a little center punch, some countersinks, a little boring bar, and looks like I found the other part to this angle finder. This was actually marked Starrett, so that maybe isn't shop made, but looks like it's seen its better day. And it looks like the little thumb screw is broken off there. Maybe I can fix that. And down in the bottom of the box, got a bunch of lathe tools, mostly high-speed steel. There's a couple of carbide ones in here, smaller stuff for a smaller lathe, but hey, high-speed steel blanks, and already some of them ground. That's always a nice thing to have. There's some inserts, carbide inserts that are in there. There's some triangular pieces of high-speed steel. That's kind of neat. So anyway, put that in there with my other lathe tools. Alright, some more little hand tools here. So got a bunch of punches. That one says Craftsman on it. I don't see a name on that one. Looks nicely made though. Square center punch. And I like these because they don't roll off the table. That's a sterret. So a lot of times your center punch will roll around. There's another one. And actually, yep, I saw that one earlier. So those go together, it looks like. That looks like a nail set that was maybe ground into a center punch. Another center punch. So a bunch of punches, or these may be scribes. Miller's Falls. Don't see a name on that one. Yeah, I think this is just a carbide tipped scribe there. Now that looks like that may have been a reamer that he ground down into a punch of some kind. I'm not sure what that is. Knurled end, it kind of tapers down. It's got a little small thread, just a couple of twists of a thread on the end. So, yeah, I don't know. A couple of Williams wrenches here. This one's a 9/16 and 1/2 inch. This one's a 3/8 and 7/16. Nice little small ball peen hammer, perfect for, you know, doing a center punch. That'll be handy. I like a little small ball peen hammer like that. Here's a couple of scrapers. You know, I use these for scraping Babbitt. You can use them to scrape all kinds of things. I've got a bunch of these. That one there is good old Pratt made that one, and this is a 3-sided scraper, and I can actually tell that that one was made from a triangular file. In fact, I can see the bottom of the Nicholson logo on the bottom, and it says bastard cut on there. So anyway, that's a little homemade scraper, and a pair of slip joint pliers. So some more goodies there. And now we're down to the last box that was in the multiple boxes here, and this one I saved the best for last maybe. I don't know. Let's see. This says precision measuring, so let's see what we got in here. So start out with looks like we got a set of general telescoping gauges. Let's see. Yeah. So those appear to be in decent shape. Now I've got a set of sterrets. I don't know that my sterrets go out that far on that one, so this may even be have a little bit wider range than what I've got. But those appear to be nice. You know, in general, I think sometimes it gets overlooked as being a maker of good machinist tools. You know, they are a little bit, or were, I guess, maybe a little cheaper than the sterret stuff, but they still made really high quality stuff. So don't overlook general when you see particularly old stuff. That looks like a good set of telescoping gauges. Let's see. Alright, so there's half of a set of parallel clamps. There's another set of parallel clamps. Those say sterret on them. That looks like a sterret, but it's only got half of them. Another little clip. So there's a Morse taper, I believe that's a tap holder. Anyway. Oh, that's nice. Drill point angle. That's a sterret. Looks like there was a rule or something. I'm going to have to find out what goes with that. Number 22. There's another piece that goes in there. I think a rule may go in that, and that gives you that drill point angle. Maybe I've got that rule somewhere. I don't know. We'll have to find it. There's just an indicator rod and a snug to tighten it up. So another snug. So these, I think, are parts of a machinist jack. So there's a little machinist jack. And I think these are all parts and pieces to maybe another one, another snug. Here's a little small machinist jack. I don't see a name on these. Yeah, I may be missing part of that one. I'm not sure. Maybe it's in here. Just hadn't got to it yet. So yeah, there's a. So that's where you can stack these up. Well, no, that doesn't quite fit it. So yeah, mystery's still going. Maybe we'll come up with that. So that looks homemade. It's got a little ball piece on there for holding an indicator, I think. That's aluminum. This looks like it's got pressed in with a set screw. So I think that was some type of fixture for holding maybe a little test indicator. And speaking of test indicators, here's a test indicator right here. This is a Brown and Sharp best test. It needs to be tightened up, but it appears to be working all right. And that's a little neat little magnetic base with a tilt on it. Looks like the screws are loose holding on in the back. I'm going to have to see if I can work on that little test indicator and salvage it. Looks like it's in decent shape. Edge finder. I don't see a name on it anywhere. Here's a pair of Starrett calipers. Yeah, these have got all kinds of. Oh, these are those. Oh goodness, I can't remember the name of them, but you can run it along an edge and scribe the edge on there. There's a name for them, and it's escaping me right now. I don't have a set of those. That's nice. Fisher Machine Shop, another edge finder. I actually have. I think these same too. I bet that's a Fisher too, and I've got Fishers is what I use. So that's nice. A little divider. Brown and Sharp. Some more dividers. I think those are all Brown and Sharps. Micrometer wrench. There's a little depth scale. There's another one of those little carbide inserts. And we're still digging, guys. So there's some more parts to a, yeah, see that one fits on there. I would have really thought that one would have fit on there, but yeah, maybe it does. It's just worn, but that's extensions for your machinist jack. Alright, so there is a angle divider, or center finder, excuse me, for a, there's the protractor head, and who made these? I don't think that's Starrett. I don't see a name on them anywhere. They look well made though. Ah, look at their little sign bar. I think that one there was homemade. You can see the milling machine marks on there. It says N on one side. You must have had that set up for something. That's nice. There's a arm for indicator set. Running out of room here. And more parts for a machinist jack there. This is a little Brown and Sharp Toolmaker square, adjustable. Brown and Sharp, number 554. That's nice. So that's a Brown and Sharp something. Oh, that's for a Machinist square. I mean, Toolmaker square too. It's just missing the scale. Maybe we'll find that. Here's another 30, 60, 90 triangle. JJS, looks like he made that one. And I bet that maybe. Yeah, there we go. So I think that one goes with that. Still digging. Brown and Sharp. That's a nice little square. I've got to stare at one that's just a little bit bigger than that, but I don't have one that size. It's actual true square that doesn't have that you can't adjust. I like these because I think they're a little more accurate than these adjustable squares. Maybe not, but I think they are. Oh, cool. Here's a who made this? Lufkin. So this is a little scale holder here again, where you could put one at a 90-degree angle. So I don't know where those scales were that I had a while ago. Excuse me. All right, I guess I don't have the right scale to go on here, but this takes one of these scales that has a groove in here, like a combination square, and that clamps in the bottom down here. This isn't the right one, but you can take a regular scale and then clamp that straight up and down, and now you've got a 90-degree scale that you can go in there and measure something very accurately up against in a corner, so, or to get an accurate height on something to keep the bottom square. So I'll have to find the right scale to go on there, but that's neat. I don't have one of those. And speaking of squares, I got a couple scales. There's a little Lufkin scale, another depth scale. Also has a hook on the end of that one. See, that's a Lufkin. Here's a micrometer. This is a Brown and Sharp. Measures to the 10th. I can't read the date that it was last calibrated. Looks like it was on there with a felt tip pen, but that looks like a nice little micrometer. Off by just a little bit. Have to maybe adjust it or clean it one. So maybe off by just a couple of tenths, not much. That's heavy. That's a nice little mic. And here's a 1 to 2. This one here is Reed Small Toolworks, Worcestershire, Massachusetts. Yeah, that doesn't look like a real high quality one there. Looks better on that side, but still, this kind of, not crazy about that one. Another depth scale. Lufkin. There's a scribe that goes on a layout tool. Ah, look at there. There's the other part of this parallel. So I'll have to get that back together. And that one is a Lufkin. Another scribe for a layout tool. So there's a set of Brown and Sharp calipers. That's neat. The crystal's missing off of this one, but I may have a crystal that'll fit that. You know, when I worked as an apprentice in a machine shop, the very first pair of calipers I ever had was a set of Brown and Sharps, just like this. And I've never had another pair. I still actually have that pair, but it's froze up. It doesn't work anymore. But I think it still has a crystal, so maybe I can get the crystal off of that one and put this one back on here. I always like these calipers. They're a little different than the Starretts, but one of the things I like about it is the rack in here that this thing goes on is covered, whereas the Starretts is open. And all the time you can get a little chip or trash in there. Anyway, I also like the white on black that this is. I don't know why. Maybe just because it's the first pair of calipers I ever had, and that's just what I learned on. But anyway, these need a little work, but I think they appear, other than the crystal being missing, I think they're in pretty good shape. They're going to 0. So yeah, maybe we can salvage those. That'd be good. Another pair of calipers. These, quite honestly, Helios. This looks like a pretty cheap pair here. Old, although it was calibrated 1999. So, Joe Blaylock's name is on that one. Made in Western Germany. I mean, they're not bad, but I don't know, they just don't have the same feel as that Brown and Sharp or a Starretts. And another set. So this is a Mitutoyo digital calipers. Maybe the battery's dead in it. I'll see if I can get these going. I've never had a set of digital calipers. I learned how to use, I think I've said this before, but I learned how to use dial calipers, and I like dial calipers because it gives me a spatial reference on that dial of where I am in relation to something else. And I like that spatial relationship. It's like reading the hands on a clock. I guess I like an analog clock over a digital clock because I can just look up at it and I can visually see if I'm, at 4:15 in the afternoon, I can visually see where that minute hand's at and just know by how much more is on that hour, how long I got to go, whereas in a digital clock I have to do that in my head. So it's just a spatial thing. I'm a very spatial person, so I've never used digital calipers, but maybe those will work. We'll have to find a battery and see if we can get them going. And who knows? Maybe I'll like them. One nice thing about them is that they will measure millimeters, and I don't have anything to measure metric. I don't have a lot of need to measure metric. Nothing against metric, but most everything I do is in the English units there in inches. So, but every now and then you have a need to measure something in millimeters, so that would be a nice feature to have. And I think that's it. So there you go, John Schleict toolbox. This is something that I'll treasure. I almost hate to take all these tools and put them into my toolboxes. I almost would like to keep them together since they were all his, but I guess the time's come and I'll have to split them up and put stuff where I'm going to need them. I don't have any actual true relationship with this person other than just a little bit of information I found out about him, but finding this book over here with the information in it does kind of give me a little bit of a connection to this guy, even though I never had a chance to meet him. But I'll treasure his tools. I'm going to take good care of them, put them to use. And quite honestly, there's quite a few items in here that I already have that I may have some doubles on. So, maybe I can even use some of this or some of the stuff that I have in my other toolbox, depending on which one I want to keep. Maybe do a little trading with you guys out there. If there's something here that you see that you really would like to have, let me know, and maybe we can work something out. But a lot of this stuff is stuff that I think I can use. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the toolbox tour, and we'll actually get the actual Kennedy toolboxes this fall sometime when I get a chance to meet up with Carl and go from there. So there you go. That's the contents of the toolbox of John Schleict, 1922 to 2002. 80 years old when he passed away. Don't really know why his tools got passed off, but I'm happy to say that I was able to rescue this collection. And like I mentioned earlier, I've got the Kennedy toolbox, the top box, the intermediate box that these go into, and I know that there are several items again that wouldn't fit into the boxes. They were too long. So John told me there was a nice, I think a number 5 or number 6 tap handle. There was some longer 18-inch scales. I can't remember what all was in there, but there were several items that he told me wouldn't fit. He's got in my toolboxes, and I'll see John later this fall and get them from him, and we'll hopefully be able to have another couple of toolboxes to put stuff in. In the meantime, I'm going to go through these and kind of pick out the stuff that I want to put over in my toolbox at the museum that I use all the time, the stuff that I need out there. And then I'm also probably going to go ahead and start restocking my wood toolbox, my oak machinist toolbox that I have here at the house. Since I got a lot of doubles now, I can put a lot of stuff and have a set of tools here at the house too. Eventually I hope to get all my shop here at the house when I get a bigger shop built, but for right now I'm going back and forth, and it seems like I'm at home, I need something, I ain't got it, it's at the museum, so it'll be nice maybe to put together a second set of tools that I can have here at the house as well. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed getting to take a peek at someone else's tools, and again, I'm proud to be the custodian of them. One day I guess I'll pass along, and hopefully all I can hope for is that someone will want my tools and will cherish them like I'll cherish these and all my other tools, and care for them and continue to use them for years to come. So thanks for watching.